It's 1878 and we find ourselves in the heart of Japan within the confines of a mine. Here, Police Commander Sato Hajime is orchestrating what was supposed to be a straightforward apprehension of government dissenters. However, the evening takes a grisly turn as rebels, skilled in the art of the samurai, mercilessly slay law enforcement officers in a shocking display of combat prowess. Sato is in the midst of this chaos, attempting to piece together what has gone amiss. It is then that he encounters the mastermind behind the carnage, Makoto Shishio, a man notorious for his past as a government-sanctioned killer known as a Badosai. The intriguing plot thickens when Shishio presents Sato with an unexpected proposal to join his rebellion, reasoning that they share a bond as former shogun loyalists in a world now governed by new leadership. Sato, however, declines the offer. His principles of neutrality and upholding the law are unshakable, much to Shishio's displeasure. The rebel leader retaliates by ordering his troops to engage in battle, only to retreat into the night, leaving behind a grim aftermath for Sato to grapple with, along with the looming threat of a formidable adversary. Fast forward to a more tranquil setting at the Kamiya Dojo, where aspiring students are eager to learn the ways of the sword. The renowned ex-assassin Kenshin is a central figure here, yet he refrains from instructing them personally. Instead, he defers to Kouru, emphasizing that her methods are the true essence of samurai discipline. It is evident that Kenshin is striving to distance himself from the bloodshed that once defined his life. The serenity of the dojo is shattered when police officers arrive with an urgent request for Kenshin to meet with Interior Minister Okubo. Rather than the anticipated mundane government affairs, Okubo presents Kenshin with a critical mission to assist in dismantling Makoto Shishio's burgeoning rebellion. Thus, the stage is set for a tense narrative where Kenshin, alongside his trusted companion Sanosuke, must navigate the murky waters of political intrigue and personal vendetta. The journey ahead is fraught with danger and moral complexity, as they are drawn into a conflict that challenges their very identities and the foundations of their peaceful existence. The backstory revealed by Okubo is nothing short of harrowing. Shishio, once an unyielding government assassin, had a reputation for his mercilessness, striking down anyone in his path, even his own comrades. When a new political regime took over, they perceived him as an overwhelming threat. Consequently, they chose to betray him in the most terrible manner conceivable. They dispatched their top samurai to execute him and subsequently set him ablaze. However, the plot takes an extraordinary twist. As Shishio was being burned, a sudden snowfall began, which not only doused the flames but also miraculously spared his life. Despite his severe burns, he emerged from the ashes with a consuming thirst for vengeance against the government that had attempted to end his existence. Okubo, aware of Kenshin's solemn vow to refrain from killing, presents the proposal and gives him a week to consider his decision. When Kenshin returns to the dojo and shares Okubo's proposition, the responses are swift and unanimous. It is out of the question. Kouru, in particular, is deeply concerned that accepting this mission could lead Kenshin back to the violent path he has forsaken. The week elapses, and Okubo meets a tragic fate as he travels to his office. He is set upon and killed by Sojiro Sato, a young swordsman loyal to Shishio. This shocking event unfolds as part of Shishio's grand strategy to topple the current government, with the elimination of significant officials being his opening move. The ministry is informed of Okubo's untimely demise, and his bodyguard contacts Kenshin once again. This time, there is no room for contemplation. They show him the grim evidence. Several police officers slaughtered by Shishio's followers. The urgency is palpable. Shishio's power is spiraling out of control. Sato, also present, is blunt with Kenshin. He must journey to Kyoto to confront Shishio's army. The grim scene before them, with the lifeless bodies of valorous men who had tried to halt the madness, underscores the gravity of the situation. When Kenshin arrives back at the dojo, he has firmly made up his mind to travel to Kyoto. Kouru is at a loss for words when he shares his decision with her, feeling a deep sense of fear, because she knows there's nothing she can say to change it. Kenshin is fully aware of the risks involved in this journey. After Kouru informs everyone at the dojo about Kenshin's choice, Sanosuke reacts with intense anger. He can't believe that Kenshin would embark on such a dangerous quest by himself. In his rage, Sanosuke exits the dojo and encounters a samurai inquiring about the location of a Badosai. Recognizing that the stranger is searching for Kenshin, Sanosuke tries to deceive him by claiming there's no such person there. This fails to convince the samurai, who then initiates a fight with Sanosuke, attempting to coerce him into revealing Kenshin's whereabouts. Sanosuke is pushed to the brink of death, but Megumi arrives just in time to save him from his attacker. Meanwhile, Kenshin has set off on his journey and makes a brief stop at a river for water. There, a young girl named Misao sneakily takes his sword. He catches up with her in a nearby village, and while he recovers his sword, she remains persistent in trying to take it once more. Their playful tussle is abruptly interrupted by a distraught boy seeking aid for his injured brother. Upon arriving at the boy's village, they witness a terrible sight. The entire place has been destroyed by fire, with the boy's parents hanging lifeless from a tree. It's a stark reminder of the evil that Shishio represents. Shishio's men soon come back to the village, likely to eliminate any survivors. Kenshin is left alone to defend the villagers in the local forge, vastly outnumbered. Despite being surrounded by adversaries, he emerges unscathed after defeating all of them. This dramatic sequence underscores the gravity of the situation and the heartlessness of Shishio, who targets not only enemies but also innocent people and their families. It also highlights Kenshin's unwavering commitment to his cause and his enduring capabilities as a warrior. After the intense confrontation, Sojiro comes over and kindly requests Kenshin to accompany him to meet Shishio. Upon reaching Shishio's base, Kenshin wastes no time in challenging him to a duel. However, upon seeing the unique reversed blade sword in Kenshin's possession, Shishio declines to engage in combat himself. Instead, he instructs Sojiro to take his place, aiming to evaluate Kenshin's current fighting prowess. Sojiro emerges victorious, even shattering Kenshin's sword. This is a stark revelation for Kenshin. Shishio's army is far more formidable than he had previously estimated, and he will need to significantly enhance his abilities to emerge triumphant in this conflict. Upon returning to the village, Kenshin discovers that the remaining inhabitants have turned on the defeated soldiers from Shishio's group. They are encouraging a young boy, whose parents were killed by these very men, to seek vengeance. As the boy is about to strike, Kenshin intervenes, advising him against becoming a killer in the heat of anger, despite the justification for his rage. Simultaneously, at Shishio's headquarters in Kyoto, his second-in-command, Hoji, is busy preparing for their next major offensive. Shishio commands Sojiro to ready their most elite warriors, known as the 10 Swords. These are not ordinary soldiers. They are the most lethal assets in Shishio's arsenal. Meanwhile, back at the dojo, Sanosuke is convalescing from his earlier skirmish with an enigmatic swordsman. Despite his condition, he is adamant about following Kenshin to Kyoto. Megumi provides him with medication for the trip, confiding in Koru that she believes it's her duty to be the one to tend to Kenshin's injuries when the battle is over. After traveling for an extended period, Kenshin arrives in Kyoto and happens to meet Misao once more. She kindly suggests that he rest at an inn operated by her relative, Okina. During their chat, Okina discloses that he was previously a member of a highly skilled reconnaissance group from the Shogun period known as the Onin, Wabanshu. Okina shares some disconcerting information. The former commander of their unit, Oshi, harbors a deep-seated resentment towards Kenshin. Following the establishment of the new imperial rule, all members of the reconnaissance squad were put to death. Oshi mistakenly attributes this tragic event to Kenshin's actions in shaping the new era, believing it to be the cause of his companion's demise. Despite this revelation, Kenshin remains committed to his main objective, halting the dangerous Shishio. He inquires with Okina about locating Arei Shaku, the swordsmith who initially presented him with his unique reversed blade weapon. One evening, Shishio's spy, Cho, returns and informs Shishio that Kenshin is in pursuit of a new sword from Arei Shaku. The next day, Kenshin is met with a sad truth: Arei has passed away. At Arei's burial site, Kenshin reflects on the moment Arei entrusted him with the reverse blade sword, which was crafted to protect lives without necessitating the taking of them. Motivated by his mission, Kenshin visits Arei's residence to seek assistance from his son, Seiko. However, Seiko has ceased forging swords due to his concerns about them being misused for violence and crime. Soon after, Cho enters the scene, coercing Seiko to hand over the last sword crafted by Arei Shaku. When Seiko refuses, Cho kidnaps his infant. In desperation, Seiko and his wife pursue Kenshin, pleading for his help to rescue their child. Kenshin tracks Cho to a sacred place where he's holding an innocent baby captive. Cho won't let the baby go and starts a fight, but Kenshin can only use the cover of his sword since the blade is damaged. Seiko, knowing Kenshin is in a tough spot, takes a bold step. He gives Kenshin his father's last sword. Koru and Yahiko come to Kyoto and see this happening. Koru is scared, thinking Kenshin has gone back to his violent past, but Yahiko notices the new sword is like the old one, with the cutting edge in reverse. That means Cho isn't dead, just unable to move. Once Cho is out of the way, he tells the police about Shishio's frightening plan to burn Kyoto to the ground the very next night. Sato quickly gets ready for battle and asks Kenshin to gather his old friends from the Onin Wabenshu to help. While the police work to keep people safe, everyone prepares for a big fight. That night, Shishio's group enters Kyoto with huge torches, ready to burn everything. The police attack, and Kenshin and Sato fight bravely with their swords. Koru and Yahiko help by putting out fires and protecting buildings. Sanosuke is also fighting hard elsewhere in the city, but there's more happening than just the battle. At the place they're staying, Okina has to deal with Oshi, an old friend who's looking for Kenshin. They argue because Oshi wants revenge, and their disagreement leads to a harsh fight. This intense moment is just the start of the chaos that's about to unfold across Kyoto. Mizuo hears news that Oshi has arrived at the inn, and she quickly goes there to meet her long-lost comrade. However, upon reaching the inn, she is shocked to discover that Oshi has critically injured Okina in a quest for payback. Meanwhile, on the central battlefield, Kenshin notices Shishio and pursues him, but it's a cunning strategy. He becomes trapped by many of Shishino's soldiers without any support nearby. Luckily, Sanosuke appears and aids him, and they manage to overpower the opposing forces. The government troops seem to win a significant battle. Yet, Kenshin suspects something isn't right. It was too easy. Shishio had two main goals: to topple the government and devastate Kyoto. If the fight was this straightforward, what was the genuine plan? It dawns on Kenshin that Koru has been abducted by Shishio. Kenshin speeds to a dock where Shishio's battleship is stationed and climbs on board. His goal is to save Koru and vanquish the remaining adversaries. Similar to other adversaries, Shishio's true intention in capturing Koru is to provoke Kenshin's killer instincts and compel him to be an assassin once more. During the heated combat, Kenshin witnesses Koru being thrown into the sea by Shishio's men. He immediately abandons the fight and jumps into the water to rescue her. Despite his tireless efforts, he is unable to locate her amidst the waves. The story ends here with a suspenseful moment. As Kenshin is lying on the shore, worn out and feeling defeated, an unidentified figure approaches to save him. The takeaway from this narrative is profound. If you've made it this far without smashing that subscribe button, congrats. You officially have more self-control than I do at a buffet. But seriously, hit subscribe. I waste my life watching movies so you don't have to. It's the least you could do.